Honorable Sisisi Tolash, ministers and deputy ministers who are present, special delegates, chairperson and CEO of the NYDA, honorable members, fellow South Africans. Let me begin on a sad note on condolences to the family, friends, members of Parliament and comrades of Honorable Tina Jumat Peterson, who sadly passed away yesterday. Our budget vote today takes place 6 days after the launch of the Youth Month, during which we commemorate the struggles and sacrifices by successive generations of youth towards a more just and humane society. We commemorate the Youth Month under the theme, Accelerating Youth Economic Emancipation for a Sustainable Future, to reaffirm our nation's location of young people's current and future well-being at the center of the developmental state. We take this moment to reset and assert our department's determination to rally and institutionalize an all of government and all of society approach to the economic emancipation of women, youth, and persons with disability. Honorable Deputy Chair, our ability to deliver our society a tomorrow that is better than yesterday is a yardstick a government should earn its legitimacy as a genuine custodian of aspirations of South Africans, particularly those who are marginalized. Despite the substantive and visible progress we have made in all spheres of socio-economic development, a lot more still needs to be done. We therefore acknowledge that despite our best efforts and intentions, the systematic and structural legacy of colonialism and apartheid cannot and will not be corrected in just under 3 decades of the democratic dispensation. While our continent's youthful population is a blessing that could bring demographic dividend, but it is not automatic. Significant investment in our most precious resource, the people, is urgently required to make the demographic dividend a reality. Whilst it should be of concern to all of us, is that extent to which our society remains characterized by poverty, unemployment, and inequality that disproportionately affects women, youth, and persons with disability. The World Bank's report titled Overcoming Poverty and Inequality in South Africa observes, among other things, that poverty in South Africa persists along racial, gender, and spatial dimensions, with Black rural women particularly on the receiving end. The World Bank's 2018 report notes that, I quote, "There is inequality of wealth. The bottom 50% of households account for only 8% of incomes, 5% of asset values, and 4% of net wealth. Richer households are almost 10 times wealthier than poor households and have much more financial assets and mortgage liabilities. There is consumption inequality. Of course, consumption is determined by income. So we can see that the majority of people are still on grants because that's the only income they will have, and it cushions them against the poverty. There is wage inequality. A little over 10% of the working population is white. Yet, white South Africans make nearly 3 times the average wage for black South Africans, who constitute more than 75% of the labor force. There is inequality of opportunities. In South Africa, inequality of opportunities for children is determined by variables such as gender, ethnicity, place of birth, family origins, which should not be in a normal society. 5, upward intergenerational mobility. There is low intergenerational mobility, and this paints a rather pessimistic scenario, as it suggests that current levels of inequality are likely to persist in the future. Ordinarily, one generation should move upwards. Every next generation should be moving upwards, but it's not quite happening like that here in South Africa. So our collective budgets and efforts as a government and working together with all social partners must serve to arrest and not to widen these disparities. So, Honorable Deputy Chairperson, as a department, we are traditionally known as an advocacy department, and we have a shoestring budget, as you know. But we have decided this time that we will change and have a step change. And we, according to the Constitution of the country, Section 198, it determines that we should all live as equals. Communities should not fear, should not live in fear of violence or want. But looking at where we are today, we are all in agreement that we don't live as equals. Communities live in fear due to violent crime, gender-based violence and femicide. And we do not live in peace and harmony, and neither are we free from fear and want. So, in agreement with the Commander-in-Chief, the President of the country, we have decided that we are going to implement a South African National Defence Force-led national service, primarily targeted at the youth, women, and persons with disability. And this will contribute to a skills revolution that will be open to every son and daughter in South Africa. And this will assist in accelerating the nation's post-pandemic recovery and reconstruction, because we know that a lot of our youth are unemployable because they don't have skills. So the National Defence Force will contribute to skilling them and massifying the sector-specific skills development so that we can power our nation's industrialization, aspiration, and grow local economies and kickstart a deliberate skills revolution. The second thing we want to do is an integrated farming value chain cooperatives. Our department, in partnership with universities, TVET colleges, and existing civil society organizations, will capacitate, train, empower communities, and roll out the integrated farming cooperatives in South Africa's poorest districts. The primary objective of these projects are to reduce the impact of extreme poverty, hunger, and unemployment, and basic socio-economic insecurity, and restore livelihoods and build community wealth. Linked to the integrated farming cooperatives, the department will partner with public, private, and non-profit entities to train and capacitate over 300 women, youth, and persons with disability in at least 3 of the 10 poorest districts in baking skills. We also want to open a cooperative bank because we know that it's very difficult for women, youth, and persons with disability to access finance from our normal banks. So we are collaborating with the Cooperative Bank Development Agency and other key stakeholders to establish cooperative banking institutions to improve access to finance. We're also looking at the creative industry as a catalyst for job creation and local economic development. We learn from Miriam Makeba's iconic career not to underestimate the power of the creative industry. This industry is not only central to the soul of the nation, it also has a potential of creating thousands and thousands of jobs, as we have seen in Bollywood, in Hollywood, in Nollywood, and also in increasing and improving the GDP of the country. Because this industry has a ripple effect on many other areas. So we want to, amongst other things, establish 1 or more recording studios so that young people can also record their music and make the most of their talent. Honorable Deputy Chairperson, we are also saddened that gender-based violence is not going away, and it's something that we all have to fight against. We are fighting for a South Africa where all women are free to actively engage and exercise their talents in every area of human endeavor. Whether it is in agriculture, in the arts, in the judiciary, academia, sports, politics, the economy, amongst others. This is because women empowerment is fundamental to the empowerment of society as a whole. Our department will be reviving the focus on the oceans economy and its potential to create jobs as an economic frontier. And therefore, this year, our theme for Women's Month is on the oceans economy, and oceans economy, harnessing opportunities in the oceans for work, for women, socio-economic empowerment. So there was a time when this was discussed, but somehow it seemed to have fizzled out, and we want to revive that discussions because the ocean is important in South Africa. But we also are very sad, as I said earlier, that women still continue to suffer what the president called the second pandemic, gender-based violence and femicide. So we want to mobilize the whole of government, the whole of society, to treat gender-based violence and femicide as a pandemic, because it was announced as such, but I don't think we are treating it as such. So we also want to work with research institutions to find out what are the drivers, known and unknown, drivers of gender-based violence, so that our target in terms of trying to cap this scourge can be focused on those drivers. Honorable Deputy Chairperson, one of the liberation struggles said, and that's Meshope, I'm quoting her, she said, everyone must decide what their mission is. Her mission was to liberate South Africa. And what is your mission? Now, this is a question that should be answered by all of us, the whole of society, including members of parliament on either side of the benches, the governing and the opposition benches. Because we will not be able to deal with this scourge unless the whole of society, every single person, takes responsibility. So the Deputy Minister will also expand on this. We are also, today, as you may know, the bill on the Council for Gender-Based Violence and Femicide, that bill is being dealt with in the National Assembly. There's public hearings today, and we are happy that that is happening. But as I say, it will not be possible to end gender-based violence unless all of us take responsibility. It was Haile Selassie who said, when those who should have acted didn't act, and those who knew better were indifferent, and those who could have made sure that there is justice didn't do anything. That's why evil continues in the world. So we shouldn't be counted as those who didn't act when we should have acted. So, honorable members, I also want to deal with the issue of persons with disability. The Deputy Minister will expand on that. I'll just touch on a few areas. As part of advocacy, we aim at increasing the level of awareness, information, and knowledge about the different disabilities. The department will be working with the Department of Health and persons with disabilities organizations to publish a working manual and guide on mental health, on autism, epilepsy, acceptable terminology on disability, wheelchair provision, deaf and blind disabilities. Of course, we'll also be advocating on albinism. As you know, there is a problem now in the country where people with albinism are under siege. Now that Parliament has passed the 18th Constitutional Amendment Bill, and the South African Sign Language is going to be the 12th official language, we will be working with the South African Sign Language Society and also with PENSAP and other departments to ensure that the 12th language is mainstreamed. The department will also support the development of a framework on self-representation by the persons with disability, so that we can make a reality their slogan of nothing about us without us. Honorable Deputy Chairperson, the NYDA will be rolling out a lot of its programs in terms of ensuring that the youth entrepreneurs are supported, ensuring that young people are put through the proper pathways to get jobs or training. And they will be also training, assisting young people with driver's license and the last mile delivery so that they can get jobs in the delivery sector, and they might buy some of them, provide some of them with motorbikes so that they are able to do that. They'll be training about 50,000 in the skills development. So NYDA will continue to do a lot as it has been doing before. And also, Honorable Deputy Chair, we are going to be hosting what we call the 40 Under 40 Innovation Awards. These awards are to celebrate and recognize excellence amongst our people, especially young people, but also to inspire those who still want to get there. These awards will be held in September this year, and they will be including areas such as banking, finance, energy, agriculture, and many others. Entrepreneurship, community development, media, journalism, theater, arts, and many others. And those nominations are open as we speak. They've been open for a while, and they will be closing on the 16th of June. So we encourage all of you who know young people of excellence to nominate them so that they can participate in this. Honorable Deputy Chairperson of the NCOP, let me say that our budget allocation for this year is 1,036,444 rands. 77% of that goes to NYDA, and of course 94 million of that goes to the Commission on Gender Equality. And the department itself remains with just over 200, and then we compensate employees and we remain with only 76 million. So you might be asking yourself, so how are you going to do all these things with such a shoestring budget? We are determined to work with other stakeholders, private sector, NGOs, universities, SITAs, and everyone that we can cooperate with to actually implement what we want to do. So in conclusion, I wish to thank the Select Committee and the Chair of the Select Committee, the Commission for Gender Equality, our Deputy Minister, the National Youth Development Agency, and all the NGOs and international partners that we work with, the private sector that we work with, and also thank the Director General and all the officials in my office for all the work they do. I also want to thank my family for the support they've given me, not just now, but over the years. And I would like to then ask this august House to support this budget. And obviously, I hope everyone will support the budget, because if we don't support the budget, it means we can't do the work.
Thank you,
Thank
Honorable
you
Minister.
very much, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Minister Dlamini Zuma. We will continue with the debates, and we will now call on the Honorable Marupini Ramagopa, Minister on the Presidency for Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation. And while the Minister starts with the debate, I will request the House Chairperson to relieve me now. Please. Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. If it is possible, may I kindly request that I switch off my video or my camera, precisely because I do not have good network. So I'm afraid that if I don't switch it off, I will continue to have glitches. I'm not sure if I'm audible because the previous speaker has spoke. As she was speaking, it looks like she was not audible. Am I audible, Honorable Chairperson?
Yes, Honorable Minister, you are honorable. You are.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson. And I take it that you are allowing me to actually switch off my video, not because I do not respect the House, but precisely because I'm afraid that I will get cut because of network issues.
Okay, agreed. You can continue.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Let me take this opportunity to acknowledge the Honorable Chairperson of the NCOP, Mr. Amos Masondo, the Honorable Deputy Chairperson of NCOP, Mayor Sylvia Lucas, Honorable Deputy Minister of DPME, Mayor Pinkike Kana, Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of the Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation, Ndate Kyangi, Honorable Ministers and Deputy Ministers that are here on the platform, and Honorable Portfolio Committee members, Honorable members of the NCOP, and the Director General of DPME, including the entire team, as well as the team that is in the National Planning Commission. It is an honor, Honorable Chairperson, to table the budget policy statement of the Department of Monitoring Evaluation for this period of 2023-2024 financial year to this August House. As the previous speakers have already spoken, I would like to take